Love the mouth-watering taste of delicious, perfectly cooked bacon?
Bacon! Bacon! Where's the bacon? I smell bacon! 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 Gotta be bacon! Only one thing smells like bacon! That's bacon! 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 There!
Welcome to the What's Sizzling podcast with Big Bacon.
Hey, look at all that meat.
And now your host, Big Bacon, Brad Hollister.
It's bacon!
Oh, hi. I didn't hear you come in. No, what is up, people? Welcome to episode, I believe this is 7. 7 already. Here we are on What's Sizzling with Big Bacon, or El Tocino Grande if you're Espanol. And here we're changing up a little bit. Like I said, I wanted to try to do a couple different things. I wanted to branch out in different ways. So we're going to play our live interview that we had about maybe a weekend ago at this point with Hammer Tunis and hosted by Matt James, which I call him out for because I think it's pretty weird that he's hosting my podcast with me hosting my podcast. But we have a great time. We share a bunch of fun stories. Hammer Tunis talks about his time with Coco B. Ware and why he thinks Coco B. Ware and Frankie the Bird are pieces of shit. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to sully Frankie the Bird's name. Frankie was not involved in the incident, but you will hear more of that story when we get to it. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit, and I'm going to have this to open the show every week during the football season. I want to talk about fantasy football a little bit. Now, if you people don't like fantasy football, let me know. If you're not into it, let me know. But I want to talk about my team a little bit. I have the Dunder Mifflins. Yes, I know. Great team name. And week 1 just passed. My Dunder Mifflins won 160 to 109. Now, I'm going to go over my team a little bit, and we're going to talk about who were the top performers. We got Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson had a great game against the New Orleans Saints. They came up just short, those Houston Texans. Then we got Sammy Watkins, who absolutely exploded for about 63 points. I don't know, maybe 63. He just absolutely destroyed it. Also, I want to talk about those. Let's go back to the Houston Texans. DeAndre Hopkins, who also has a great German suplex. As a German suplex connoisseur, if you guys go back and you YouTube DeAndre Hopkins tackle, I'm sure it's the first thing that's going to pop up now. Jesus, what a stiff German this guy got. Who got working strong style over here. And then after the game, I think he said something about like next time he'll play two-hand touch or whatever it is. So I'm very happy he was my number 1 pick because it shows that this guy got some cojones for those Espanol speakers. Also, we had the Seahawks defense. They didn't play great, but, I think they're going to get me a lot of sacks with Jadeveon Clowney going over there. Amari Cooper had a great game. Leonard Fournette, I mean, he did have the fumble for the rest of the part. We know he's going to be the lead back in Jacksonville, so especially with their quarterback going down. So I think that's going to be a solid pick going forward. So I'm very excited about my team. I think I'm going to absolutely destroy the league. I think I'm going to win it all. That is the plan. That is the goal. That is what we're going to accomplish. Because, the first thing I looked at when I was drafting my players was character. I wanted guys with good character who are going to show up and do their job. And that's exactly what I think I got with the Dunder Mifflins. Now I want to make sure that every single person that is listening to this right now is following us on Twitter at What Sizzling. Also, please follow us on Instagram at What Sizzling Podcast. We got the Bacon Bits on YouTube. I know I haven't done one in a while. I know I'm slacking. I know I just started with the Insanely Rude one. But we're gonna have some more of those coming up soon. Also, make sure you're subscribing to my Twitch at Big Bacon Brad if you like gaming. If you don't like gaming, hell, just watch it on YouTube. Because like I said, you see me whooping some ass in Madden on YouTube, and now that NBA 2K20 came out, I'm going to be whooping some ass in that too. So if you guys are into that, please go give it a view. So I'm going to throw to our live edition interview of What's Sizzling with, like I said, a lot of these guys, I've been trying to get my really good friends, the best friends on the show. Hammer Tunis is legitimately my best friend. Like, I see that dude almost every day of my life. So really, really cool. I knew I was going to have him on eventually. So I thought, what better way to have the live edition, because me and him sitting on that stage at the Zombie Hideout, which, by the way, thank you guys so much for having us. us sitting on that stage was pretty much us sitting on my porch and just talking about PvP and Western Mass and all the good things. So I'm going to throw to that interview right now. Actually, I'm probably going to throw to Matt James because that D-bag found a way to host this when I'm the host of my own show. So take it away, Matt James.
The bacon, the bacon, the bacon,
All right, how we doing out here? Zombie Outbreak, Springfield, Mass. Welcome to What's Sizzling Live. I'll be your MC for this afternoon. Thanks for being here. This is the Zombie Hideout. We appreciate you guys being here. I am Matthew James, and right now we are going to bring out the host of What's Sizzling Live. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Big Bacon.
So Matt got us a damn stage for this, which I think is absolutely ridiculous because how the hell am I supposed to get up on a stage? So, damn it, Matt, this is all your fault. This is all your fault. Yeah, boo Matt. Everyone boo Matt James.
All right, so I will be your color commentator as we watch Big Bacon, Brad Hollister maneuver out of this brand new chair that we got him. This one's got the foot braces, so he doesn't have to just hold. That was a great job. Give it a spin, Big Bacon. Oh, nice. That's a nice model. Nice cushions. That is courtesy of the Eastfield Mall, and they did not ask for an ID, so we will be stealing that when we leave. All right, he's attempting his mount. Very graceful. He's going to go with the sit on the stair method first. He's going to sit on this stage. He knocked over his special guest crushes. He's going for the two-hand lift-up power squats. The one-legged, and he's up, ladies and gentlemen. Bacon.
Oh, you want me to take over here?
Yeah, you're the host now. It's
Well, okay, this is the funny thing about this real quick. When I was like, oh, I want to do a live podcast, live Q&A and all that, Matt James somehow just threw himself into it. He was like, oh, well, I'll be the host. And I'm like, it's my show. How are you going to host my show? He's like, well, I'll introduce you. I'm like, it's my job to introduce people. I'm the host. So Matt found a way to Matt James himself into this.
I did. That's a very Matt James move, is to just think everybody needs what you're bringing, and then show up and provide that. But I said you need a stage because it's a show, and you said no, we don't. But you got a stage.
I was very upset about the stage.
We got 3 microphones, even though you asked for 1 microphone.
I was going to share. Sharing is caring.
And I got you a nice chair
that I didn't use because it's 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah, sorry. He did not want to go with this high top chair.
And now he has the fancy chair. So Matt got himself a good chair, and he wants to brag about it, how he's such a good friend.
Check.
But speaking of good friends, my guest at this time, my guest today for the first live edition of What's Sizzling is my best friend. He is the man who gets the nod, the handsome son of God, sexy Jesus, Hammer Tunis.
Being brought in, carried up. We should have practiced this. This looks dangerous. Who's going to help Jim Kulik back down from the stage? Beautiful landing. 10 on the landing.
Right, I'll give it up. That was a good move.
Well, here's your crutches you made me hold that you're not using. You took notes?
Yeah.
Oh, book a show real quick?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Because this is where you're going to find out.
Try it again.
Cell phones off. This is obviously a professionally ran.
I think we're going now. Ooh. Bacon, this is the voice of Jesus. You need the mic test now that we're live, John Roy?
All right.
Best sound guy in the business. Give it up for John Roy, everybody.
Legit, yeah. If it wasn't for JR, half the shows that you go and watch would look like shit. So give it up for JR because yeah.
JR's over, baby.
Oh, he is the most
Just
over.
not with the boys in the back.
But dude, it was a sweet 5 seconds.
What a good 5 seconds.
He is the Jamie to my Joe Rogan. That's why I like to equate it. So, my guest today, Hammer Tunis, sexy Jesus.
How's it going, Bacon?
Oh baby, it's going.
I miss you. Oh, you guys are all right. We know you know my name. Why wouldn't they know my name?
It's a great name.
a great
It
name.
is a great
It's a
name.
fun name.
Yeah.
So
do
is
you
Big
remember
Bacon.
when I gave you that name?
Yeah, absolutely. Were we staying? Was that Polish Club? Were you South Hadley?
No, that was in Northampton.
Then no, I
That
don't
was-
remember.
That was at the Deuce.
The Deuce.
Welcome to the Deuce.
That's where I think it was the same night Matt James just wiggled his way into the wrestling business as well.
Absolutely. All right. So for those of you who know Matt, you guys all know Matt James by now, right? He's been around a few years now. My introduction to Matt James was as follows. We had a roast scheduled for Aaron Morrison. Aaron Morrison had just retired, and we were doing a roast, and it's like freaking night before the roast. It's not like a couple weeks. It's like the night before the roast, and I get the strange numbers blowing up my phone. I'm like, I don't answer my phone.
Matthew James.
Anybody who knows me knows I do not answer my phone. Don't even try. It's worthless.
You don't know where it is half the time.
I don't know where. I know where it is right now, and when I know where it is, it's at 2%. So, phone's blowing up. I finally answer it, and he's like, "Hey, Justin. Hey, this is Matthew James."
We were doing the Eric Newton promotion.
Yeah, what was it? RPW?
No, NEFW at the time.
NEFW,
Northeast
RPW,
Frontier
whatever it
Wrestling,
happened to be
whatever
at
it
the
was.
time. I'm like, how'd you get my number? He goes, oh, yeah, I'm friends with Johnny Idol and Aaron Morrison. They gave me your number and told me to hit you up to see if you could get me on the roast tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's already booked up. We got enough guys. We got to fill certain time slots. We're not trying to drag this out. And who the hell are you? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Somehow he manages to talk his way in and he schmoozes and I say yes. And so we're sitting at this roast and I'm sitting between Aaron and Idol while Matt's going off and he's killing it because he's a funny guy. And I'm like, so how do you guys know Matthew James? And they're like, what? They're like, we don't know him. He said he knew you. So here's my introduction. This stranger just completely came in and lied. He's like Paul Heyman. Except trying to get up to Vince McMahon, he had to get up to Sexy Jesus. Like, what way to aim low, brother.
Yeah,
the one guy.
Set the goals higher, dude.
The one guy I have better hair than is Paul Heyman. So right.
Oh no, that really just sums MJ up in a.
Yeah, I'm a liar and a cheater and a con artist.
Oh,
and a whore.
I'll do anything for money.
No, dude, the way he stuck it, I remember that it was one of the roasts, and I was feeling myself. I had a couple adult beverages.
17 at the time, probably.
Dude,
6
I feel
years
like I've
into the
been
business.
17, 12-year vet.
Had tattoos for 10 of those 17 years.
Oh, absolutely. So I see Matt James. He's killing on the stage, and I'm dying. And I grab Tunis. I go, "Who is this guy?" And he's like, "I don't know, but he's killing." So I was just like, "All right." So I guess this guy's around. He's been the ring announcer ever since until
he
until
did
got
so
fired.
well. He did so well that from that moment on, he became our official ring announcer for the next 2 shows until I fired him.
You fired me. I forgot about
dude.
that. You fired me for working an outlaw mud show in Holyoke, Mass. that X-Pac and nobody else came to.
I see Purdy Curdy out here. I know you appreciate this. We have people travel like 3 hours across state lines to come run literally a show the night before ours. And when I had a conversation with the promoter about it, he goes, well, can't we have a piece of the pie too? And I said, no, that's my pie. And in fact, you can't have any of my ingredients. And so I kind of left it up to guys. I said, you guys can go work the show if you want, but I kind of consider that taking money out of our pocket and taking money out of all the wrestlers' pockets and just leeching off of hard work of others. And so I kind of put my foot down and asked everybody not to work that show.
And guess who did it?
And here comes old whore Matt James.
I'll take your $30.
He's like, I gave him my word I would ring announce. X-Pac's going to be there.
Not there.
That was your ticket. Yeah. That was your ticket to the top.
Matt James, how many people in attendance that night?
It was me, X-Pac, Logan Black. You were at that show.
Whore!
Whore!
No, I didn't know you. No.
Who do you guys think we should have Slade wrestle now tonight?
Now that you're fired.
Now that you're refired.
4 years ago. Yeah, dude, Logan Black wrestled X-Pac.
What a guy. What a good guy.
It was probably really good.
And then X-Pac said hello to all 3 of the people in attendance.
That match was probably really good.
Hey.
Of course you were, Fogman.
Fogman was there.
So all 3 people that were there are here. So
and you're all fired.
You're all everyone's fired. Get out.
These guys here will go to anything. They're at this right now.
They're at
this. He's one of 6 people that paid for this.
And what a stud. What a stud.
Oh, God bless Fogman.
Listen, give it up for Foggy.
Fogman.
Someone get a video going so when he says it's 6 people, we can prove him wrong that it's at least a baker's dozen.
When Fogman's inducted into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, nobody do anything. Everybody just take bootleg video shots vertical bootleg video shots.
Get the shot.
It's just screaming behind the camera. Ah! No, the best is any sumo video. Because I don't think you have to chant sumo. You can't not chant sumo. So anytime sumo, every single time, dude, it fucking kills me.
This is nice. We haven't done a roast in a couple of years. This is going really well.
Who's next? Who's next on the stage for the roasting? I mean, right here we got Tunis here, and we're just talking about your strict ways sometimes. I mean, running promotion is not an easy job.
It's miserable, dude. It's so miserable sometimes. The payoff of it, you know when running a wrestling event is fun? Right after the wrestling event. That's fun. And that's for about 7 seconds before I have to round everybody up to do ring crew and go do another 24 hours of work. It's like, it's very satisfying to do this, but like, I was sitting in a driveway today at 12:30 in the afternoon with one person helping me load up a ring today at one point. And I'm like, guys, like, mathematically, this does not work. We cannot do this. And next thing I know, 12 guys all showed up in the next 15 minutes. So I'm appreciative of the guys that we have here.
Yeah.
Really, this roster is boiled down to a group of the hardest working guys in New England, New York, New Jersey. We got guys from all over, really. But they're all go-getters. They're guys that work hard. They do the extra things. They're hungry. They have talent. There's something special about everybody here at Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling, I think. And Matthew James has done a very, very similar job over at Western Mass Wrestling.
Well, I sat under the tree of Sexy Jesus.
Well, there you go.
The Jesus learning tree.
It's the workhorses of the area. It's guys that are out and trying to get better and not just pretending to be a wrestler or just doing it leisurely on the weekends. Like, these guys are all serious about stuff. And that's why we have the TK Orions and the Brian Maloneses and the Big Bacons and the JT Duns and
He's going in order of the PWI 500. That's
I'm going.
He started at the top and counted
all the way down to number 499, Wrecking Ball Ligursky.
Oh no, dude! Wrecking Ball beat me this year, and it makes me want to question my ranking.
How many wrestlers?
I'm gonna call in. Like, that's BS. PWI. Where is he? I thought he was in here.
Throw the red flag.
Oh, it would be so much more funny if he was in here.
Why would 371 show up to a 377 podcast?
That is true.
Number 371.
He's like,
maybe if Malonis had a podcast.
No, he
does.
beat Malonis.
Oh, he
by
did by
one,
one,
which is the best rib ever. Which is because my favorite thing about the Malonis Wrecking Ball feud is Malonis will constantly call him fat on every kind of social media, and it's hilarious because Wrecking Ball gets angry instead of just being like, dude,
check out.
Yeah, you're a little bit bigger than I am, bro, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of fat, Damon Farrar just walked in.
Oh, no, speaking of Malonis.
Oh, speaking of Malonis.
Wearing a Wrecking Ball shirt.
Speaking of
oh
the
my
next
God.
roast, here we go.
Oh, my God. He comes in looking like a Malonis with a Wrecking Ball shirt as we're talking about that feud. This is so beautiful. This is a beautiful moment.
Damon, you're the best.
Job, Damon.
Go Trump.
So when you got into running promotion, I know it wasn't a thing like you weren't planning on ever becoming a promoter. I don't think, at least from talking to you in the past. So when did this start falling into place to the point where you're just like, oh, screw it, I guess it's my company now.
Those of you who've been around a number of years, you might remember EWA and Doc Heresy running EWA over in, he's all over the place, but, the last year or so was in Chicopee and Agawam and Palmer. And that was kind of the staple promotion here in the area. That's where I kind of broke out. That's where you kind of broke out. That's the first time we ever got to face in the ring, was in those EWA rings.
I was an EWA tech. Oh, God, please do not bring up Punk and Prep.
Yep.
I like to pretend that part of my life never happened.
I love to remind them of it every chance I can.
He is?
Yeah, and remind Leary. It's great to pop Leary about it, too.
Oh, yeah. I think he hates it just as much. Dude, I'm sure you hate it just as much as I do.
Not when you're signed and he's trying to book you.
No,
you in,
we had the worst theme song in the history of theme songs.
What was it?
It was Party Rock mixed with Blitzkrieg Bop. And it was just...
That's basically Leary's whole theory on everything, is Party Bop versus Blitzkrieg Bop.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not a good time in my life. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Continue, sir.
We were Pumpkin Prep United.
No, we were not there.
So
EWA.
Brad Hollister and Jeremy Leary were killing it on the Indies,
God
brother. Let me
damn.
tell you. They were running amok through everybody, and here it was, the big showdown, Pumpkin Prep United, chasing the tag team championships against the Purists. Actually, I learned a lot. I learned a lot there at EWA, but
Oh, God.
when
Please delete
EWA
it.
kind of went under, like it was like a Russian church came in and bought the building or something, and they were like really strict.
As they do.
As they do. And they're like, we want the wrestling building, but no wrestling. And that kind of fell under, and all of a sudden I got kind of cast and thrust into all these roles that the vets had been filling, the Doc Harris's, the Kevin Landry's, the Aaron Morrison's, Johnny Idols. And now this promotion that they were running it has gone under, and so all these roles were just kind of left, and nobody was taking the bull by the horn, so to speak. And I get a lot of credit for it, but you deserve just as much credit for it as I do. Because we were thrust into these roles, and I had no idea what I was doing, and that's where me and you really, really started bonding, is I would pick your brain for ideas, and next thing you know, we'd be hanging out all day, and next thing you know, we'd have 3 years worth of wrestling written out,
Dude,
and
it gets
ideas. Like
My porch
obsessive.
has heard so many potential wrestling Pioneer Valley promotion ideas.
Basically every angle you could think of, we pitched on your porch.
At some point.
Yeah, so I mean, we took those ideas and we implemented them, and they worked. And all of a sudden, the promotions that we were wrestling at and taking control over went from crowds of like literally 8 people, 10 people, 12 people, up to 50 people, up to 100 people, up to 150 people, up to we need a new venue. And it's just kind of grown and blossomed organically since then. But I mean, you've had such a hand in that. This guy over here, Matthew James, has had such a hand in that.
He won't get his hand out of it.
You get your hand out.
Well, we asked him to get his hand out.
Yeah,
of it. He refuses.
He refuses. And then when we said, "Hey, you can't have your hand in anymore," he's like, "Well, I'm gonna create my own jar, and I'm gonna keep my hand in it all by myself."
You can still use my sound system though.
Well, dude, we do need it. It's not like we don't need a sound system because all these people just gonna hear me talk. Normally,
You did need a sound system. If you're putting on a show, you need 2 things: a stage and a sound system. And I brought both.
Give it up for Matt James bringing the stage and the sound system.
Dude, you got me thinking about this now, dude. Like, all right, like, it's hard for a wrestler to keep one song as a theme song everywhere they go. Like, it changes up for most guys all the time. You get the occasional Bobby Ocean or whatever, like, where Slick Wagner Brown, where they have that one song forever everywhere they go. But a lot of guys mix it up depending on your character, if you're a babyface or whatever it is. Dude, you've had to have had some bad entrance songs. You've had to have some bad entrance songs.
Really bad entrance songs. What was it? When me and Perry Von Vicious were the California Dreamboats, we came out to, it wasn't Hotel California. What's the other, there's another song that has California in it.
California
No.
Yeah,
me and Perry Von Vicious came out to Tupac. Have you seen Perry Von Vicious?
Is it California Dreamin'?
It was California Dreamin'.
The Mamas and the Papas?
Oh, yes. And it was it was not good hype music to come out
When do you curtain on California Dreamin'?
We just
all the leaves are all the leaves.
Slowly
Not yet. And the sky is gray. And the sky is gray.
That's when we break through the curtain right there. No, that was a bad one. Like I said, the Blitzkrieg Bop.
Dude, I've gotten put out to
Party
Marky
Rock.
Mark before. Like,
what was is that your worst
oh my
one?
god, dude, it was pretty bad.
I came out to Amish Paradise one time, but that was
me and Aaron.
It's a different category.
Back before 9/11, when everybody got so damn sensitive. So me and Aaron wrestled Taka. Do you remember Taka from Japan?
Who did I bring Taka
And he was here for a little while. We wrestled Taka.
Was it you? It was okay. Yeah, it was pretty.
We
great.
wrestled Taka and Makazi.
That's so funny.
And we came out to Turning Japanese. So
that's awful.
That's pretty bad.
Who do you think did 9/11?
I don't know, but something's happened in the last 5 years where nobody batted an eye back then.
9/11 was
20
years ago.
Now it's like cringeworthy. I'm like, oh my god.
I can't believe you did that. Dude, no, like I remember. Was it the other NEFW? What was the one before that? Where Mike Lynch, his company. What was it called?
Yeah, whatever.
Remember, dude? I was just
Bobby Ocean was Satan.
Yeah, no. All I remember was the entrance videos, And Makazi's was legitimately just a thing of takeout food.
Right.
That was his entrance video.
Right.
Kevin Landry's was needles.
It was all needles and
Yeah.
pills with a steroids question mark.
And like,
Question
I'm like,
mark.
these are the entrance videos? I'm like, this place is ridiculous.
Steroids?
Maybe. Dude, that's just back in the day. Everyone would just roll and not really give a damn.
Fantastic. Maybe we should bring some of that back.
Oh, no, dude.
No.
No, absolutely not.
That might be a little extreme for us.
As soon as I sell all these Western Mass Wrestling T-shirts, because I bought fucking 200 of them, the last show when I finally sell that shirt, we'll get all these bad ideas out of the way.
I only see one in the crowd,
Yeah,
so you
no
might be able to
shit. Tell
tell
me
like
about it.
18 or 19
You
right
should,
now.
you should check the back of my car.
So
Go
so-
to the back of Matthew James' car.
Nobody said nobody. That's a terrible life decision. No, I remember when Matt was ordering the shirts. Mind you, I have gotten a lot of shirts in my life. I sold a lot of shirts in my life.
How you doing?
So he walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, how many shirts should I get?" And I give him an idea. And his idea legitimately is about triple of what I said.
He goes, get 40. I go, I'm going to get 100.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't think you should get 100, Matt. I think you should get around 40 and just see how you do from there. No, I'm going to go for the 100. And not only did he get 100, he got 100 in the wrong color.
I didn't realize, because I smoke a lot of weed and I don't read the emails. It said they were sending me gray shirts, but the picture I sent them was a black shirt. And I just assumed they're going to make a picture of the one that like I made in my kitchen.
What do you think they thought when they got a thing of a black shirt and said, "I want gray shirts"?
I didn't say gray shirts. I said I wanted black shirts. Nobody has them.
No,
here,
but there was a decision where you have to click, right?
Yeah.
And when you pulled that bar down and there was gray, technically you click gray shirt.
This was
so you sent in a black shirt and you're like, I want this in gray.
I didn't get it from like Vistaprint or anything.
Which
It
the
was
best
like a
thing-
mom and pop. It was like
No,
a
the
mom and
best
pop
part would be if it was just a black square with Western Mass Wrestling
on a gray shirt.
I ironed on,
Just
dude.
ironed on,
Ironed
looking like
on.
shit.
Like Kulik made it.
I spent like $1,000 on shirts, and I've made none of that money back.
The best part is legitimately every single show, every single Western Mass Wrestling show since the first one, because you had to have them for the first.
Oh, of course.
So this is 4 Western Mass Wrestling
Bougie
shows
Matt
now.
James.
Every single time the show ends and you're like, "Where's Matt James?" And you go out the back and Matt's standing in the trunk of his car and he just looks up 4 out of 4 times and goes, "I bought too many shirts, man." 4 out of 4 times, dude. He just looks at his shirt and shakes his head and
Didn't I
sulks.
deliver that shirt to you? Didn't I hand deliver that shirt to you like a drug dealer? I drove it to your house in Ludlow.
Oh my god.
It's a good front for the drugs you were
I
selling.
drove it to the house in Ludlow, and you were like, "Hey, you want to get a beer?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll just get a beer." Like I drove the shirt to him in Ludlow. I should have just sold you drugs. I already made the trip. Why make 2?
Jesus Christ, you're shot. Oh, you got
No, I am not.
Not you.
Oh, that.
Oh, him. One time it was after a PvP show one time, and this is just a example about how, you guys ever hear the term extra, when someone's extra, you know, they're just a little bit too much. It's an explanation about how extra Matthew James is. Luckily I kicked the good leg. Yeah, this is the roast of you now. So we leave here and we're like, oh, let's all go to Matt's after. Without saying a word, Matt just sprints. He just leaves. So I was like, are we going to Matt still? Like, what's going on? So
I had to get a stage and a sound system real quick.
So we all go to Matt's and we come in, and this is around Christmas time. He's sitting there in a like the most Christmas pajamas that you could ever imagine, and he has his legs crossed. Can you please give an example?
I do have a deep cross.
Oh, dude, it's an impossibly deep cross. Who crosses their legs like that? You're crushing some equipment.
He's sipping like warm eggnog with cinnamon.
Yeah, dude. He has like a martini glass with eggnog and like cinnamon around the edge. And when we walk in, he just goes, oh, and mind you, he has the fireplace on the TV with like Christmas music going. And we walk in and we're like, where'd you go? He just goes, hello. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Wasn't expecting to see you.
Like in his head, the second we're going to Matt's, he wasn't like, okay guys, see you there. He was just like, I gotta go set this joke up.
I got a joke for you guys.
I 100% thought he was going to be naked.
That's what I was hoping for.
But that's
I want to see that
That's
ET
the
body.
standard. That's the norm. That's not even like the joke. That's just what I expected to walk into.
You show up to my house unannounced very early in the morning.
12:30 p.m.
Very early
Pounding.
in my morning.
4 phone calls with predetermined plans and phone calls and Facebook messages and pounding on the door. And this son of a bitch will find until I'm backing out of his driveway. wipe his eyes off. Like somehow doesn't matter how long I'm there. 10 minutes pounding on the door. It's like, wait till I'm leaving. Call me back. Come on back. You're watching the whole time.
At one point, I was running an after-school program in Holyoke, and I was like, "Hey, Matt, you wanna work? I think you'll be really great with the kids. Like, you're a funny guy. I think the kids will really take to you." He said, "Well, what time do I got to be there?" And I'm like, 3:30. And he goes, "I don't know if I could be up for 3:30 every day."
I'll pick you up from work if that was.
Yeah, after.
When do you get out? 5:30. I'll grab a coffee. I'll start by and I'll pick you up. Splash some water on my dick and hit the road. Just got to get his shoes on.
Gotta get my shoes on, get the morning stretches in. So last time when we were getting into things, we were talking about you taking over a promotion, and you're talking about growing it, because I remember at the time, like, it sounds super arrogant now, but if I like hear about a crowd with like 50 or whatever, I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But at the time, I'm like, oh my God, we're growing something special here, because it went from such a small group of people of, like I said, 6 to when we got into the Hadley building, some of those shows we would have like 350 people, and it was us. We weren't bringing in any big names from anywhere else. It was our guys. So it was really, really cool. When, like, in your estimation, when did you see like it get to that next step? Like, 'cause like you said, we talked about it going from like 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, but when did you see like, oh, like, we're doing well with just our guys? Like, did you ever feel the pressure to bring in names ever?
I never felt pressured to do that. I kind of always took pride in the fact that we were local and didn't have to use those names, because the only other places I had ever seen pull crowds like that had to use former WWE stars and names. I'd never seen people pull 300 plus people fairly consistently, using just the core group of like local guys. So I was very proud of that, and I've always been really proud of the product that we put out. We provide an opportunity and a platform for a lot of young guys with a lot of promise and potential to grow. Maybe they only have a couple matches under their belt. They're only going to get better by getting more matches, but they have to show those signs of wanting to do things the right way and having understanding of the business and how to wrestle and show some potential like that. It's not like I'm just going to throw that out at any person who wants to work. Like, they got to do something to earn that.
And no, and that's like one of the things, like, Northeast Wrestling gave me my first chance to kind of like break out nationally. But if it wasn't for me getting chances at PvP, I would have never got to Northeast to get those opportunities. You know what I mean? So like being able to be a guy that was just getting, 6 to 8 in second or third match on every show I was on, to coming to PvP, and I had my own talk show segment. I had, I was in the main event where I had
your
20
last
minutes.
surgery.
Yeah, my last surgery in like 2012 with my shoulder.
Shit, man, you're old.
Dude, I
You're
know.
the oldest 27-year-old that's ever been.
Dude, I know. I keep saying 26 too, because it just happened.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah, happy birthday to me, by the
Just say 25 if you're gonna lie.
Yeah, if
Just
you're
be
gonna lie,
25
you
for
might as
couple-
well be a
with
nice
a round
round
number.
number.
Well, no, but
talent
if I
in
say
New England.
26, then I'm like, who would lie about being 26? If people would lie about being 25,
He goes
no one
25,
lies.
and people are like, I don't know.
I don't know. You look like a 26-year-old to me. But yeah. So if it wasn't for those first opportunities in PvP, like I said, getting those 20-minute matches and being able to getting there with guys who were better than me, because I feel like I wasn't getting those chances. I feel like I was in there with guys that were kind of at my same experience level, and it was just, hey, go out there and don't suck. There wasn't any pressure to do great. It was just, don't do bad. So, like, when you started seeing everything start kicking in gear, like, when did you start being like, okay, like...
So, there's a couple, in terms of running shows, there's a couple of them. We had that one anniversary show. I think we have been in Hadley about a year. And I think it was like you and Aaron Morrison, and then we had like Johnny Idol and Billy King in a first blood match or something. But the card was just top to bottom. It was a year's worth of long-term built-up feuds with good guys and all our local guys. And that was like legitimately beyond capacity. Like, had anybody come in there that day, I'm shut down. And it was people were sitting on the bar because there was nowhere else to go. Like, it was hot and elbow to elbow.
It was grossly hot. I remember that.
And I was like, oh my God, we got something there. And then, another one was when me, you, and TK kind of came together there, because you had been champion for like a year or something at that point. And you never know how that's going to go. Is it going to run its course? Are people going to start to lose interest? How do you keep it interesting? And then all of a sudden, me, you, and TK are there together. And, the three of us kind of found each other. found ourselves being together there in that group and kind of figured it out on our, like, individually, collectively as a group also, but we found our individual selves. And I just remember some of the heat we were getting when we were out there sometimes. And so now you had the heel stable kind of remind me of the Four Horsemen a little bit, just in terms of how that was booked, and baby faces constantly chasing the heels there, and people were into it and they bought into it, and ultimately had a beautiful ending. You know, I mean, that story had a payoff. We had the Billy King payoff. We had the Johnny Idol became
still, like,
champion and shocked the world.
I have I mean, not to toot my own horn, but too. Like, I've done a lot of cool stuff, like, for being so young, and I always say, like, that Billy King moment will probably always be, like, my coolest moment in wrestling.
Kids crying in the front row.
Dude, there's literally, like, kids were crying tears of happiness and hugging each other, like, after a good guy won a title. I'm like, that's the most pure shit imaginable, you know what I mean? So, like, being able to, I'm getting goosebumps right now, like,
That's
that was,
awesome.
like, one of the coolest moments I've ever been a part of. So,
That's a great
thank
pop
you
that
for that.
night. In that Hadley building. That's a great pop that night.
Was anybody there that night?
Billy King?
That was something special, you know, because Billy King had been a 10-year guy and been a heel everywhere and spit on, and the crowd hated him, and just somehow organically here, as him and Bacon built some tension, and people really, really hated Bacon.
Which is hard to believe.
All of a sudden, the
So
people started to
likable.
love Billy King.
And also, he had just gotten off of a year of being like a dirt feud with Johnny Idol. And Johnny Idol was super face.
Right.
And Billy King, he had just come, they hated him, 9 months earlier.
But that crowd grew that appreciation for
through
him,
that,
you know what I
because
mean?
of that. Through that, yeah.
And when you genuinely appreciate and love a wrestler, it comes off. And so they had somebody that they genuinely thought deserved to be champion up against the guy who had carried the belt for 2.5 years, who they hated, who had won every dickhead
Cheated
style
every
way.
yeah.
And he overcame and he conquered and he triumphed. And yeah, dude, it was one of the most special moments
And that
we've
was the
ever had
first
here
time.
running shows.
Sorry. That was the first. I'm sorry. That was the first time you guys got your comeuppance, really, in that whole thing. We never sent anyone home happy with DDP.
No, we would
it
legitimately,
was always the four of
and
you guys.
still would close out the building.
So people would
have,
leave. They'd get sick. Even
we'd either have our manager or TK just grab the
people
mic
that were
and just yell out
super
and
into it.
until everyone left.
People that
And we did that for 2 years straight.
Usually have to kick
Jesus
out of the
Christ,
building.
why are you people still here? Oh my God.
Right, dude, and the best part is then somewhere along the way, they just decided it was funny and now they loved it.
Yep. And then that's how, after all that, we kind of just, it was the same thing. We were talking about how Billy, through the feud with Johnny Idol, kind of gained everyone's adulation. Well, we kind of, after that, started going through that same thing of, I feel like you can only be bad for so long before people start liking you. And fortunately for us, you guys started liking us.
Yeah, and that's when it really, really, really became fun was when you guys hated us for so long that you started kind of cheering for us. It's in that kind of transition that we were allowed to do whatever the fuck we wanted. Whatever we wanted. And you guys would cheer for it. We could come out and do something scummy or obnoxious or we just take our pants off for no reason in the ring.
Who would hate that?
There was one show where we finished the main and then we literally undressed in the ring
and got
at one of the waterfront shows, dirty dancing routines.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to explain that? That's the greatest babyface turn of all time. I was drunkenly in a car with RJ Rude when we were on a road trip. RJ Rude in the house. One half of the brand new Northeast Wrestling Tag Team Champion.
Oh,
speaking of pops.
And his partner, that other guy.
Yeah. Oh, no, dude. I explained the
Ray Bernardo, baby.
But I was telling RJ about the story of the greatest babyface turn in wrestling history. So, Tunis, you're my guest. Would you like to take it over?
Oh, my goodness. So, an hour earlier on the card, we are getting booed out of the building. People did not like us out here in Brockton. And actually, I think we wrestled TK and Vinny that night, right?
Yeah.
It was the Kingdom versus the Closers. And one of my favorite matches that we've had.
Me too.
And it was one of those matches where by the end of it, the crowd was cheering everybody, you know? And so it was kind of like that turning point where the crowd was done kind of hating us, and now they're ready to cheer us.
Yeah, same thing as down here. We're starting to feel that, hey, we should be good guys here because the crowd's starting to treat us like good guys.
So give them no time to change their minds. We're going to pull the trigger here tonight. So we had to do some kind of run-in save or something in the main event, save Teddy Goods or whatever it was. So we do that, and next thing I know, I go to get out of the ring, and Bacon's got the microphone doing traditional Bacon karaoke, And
Okay, so I say this all the time. If I'm not good at something, I'm just like, well, that's stupid. I don't want to do it. Like, no matter what it is. Like, that's why, like, everyone's like, oh, you want to play Call of Duty? I'm like, no, Call of Duty's dumb. It's really because I'm not good at Call of Duty. And singing is the only thing I am terrible at, but I want to be good at, and I will continue to do. So when I seen a microphone and I had a certain song in my head, I just figured, take it away.
So here comes Dirty Dancing, Time of Our Life. And next thing we know, the music's hit. And it was like the most unbelievable thing where these 200 people that were just booing us and throwing stuff at us are now like, and me and Bacon are snapping our fingers and doing a shuffle
We're
around the ring.
and
And it hit the spot, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and we pointed at each other, and we stared in each other's eyes and into each other's hearts. And my man boosted me high above the ceiling with a big spin around, and the rest was history. Thank you very much.
The best part of that is, like, what if we both thought we were going to be the person on top? So we just ran and jumped at each other and bet.
Yeah, we both like I was going to boost you up. One hand.
Well, that's when I was giving you the eye
Treat
contact.
you like a basketball?
I was like, all right, you're going to pick me up, right? You're going to pick me up. So we're sharing a lot of good stories. We got a couple more before we end with the Q&A, but this is a story that I feel needs to be in the wrestling podcast world. You know what story I'm going to ask about.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bacon.
You know exactly what I'm
I
talking
do
about.
not.
You had a incident with a former WWE Hall of Famer that, let's just say the incident was pretty fly. Can you please explain more?
Fuck Coco B. Ware. Just fuck that guy. That guy's an asshole. So yeah, I was like 3 years in or something, and we were supposed to have a 6-man tag match. It was me. It was supposed to be Aaron Morrison and Congo, who is unbelievable, by the way. Props to Congo, and one of my
I
favorite,
miss Congo.
one of my
I
favorite
haven't seen him
people.
in forever.
What a sweetheart. He is easily one of my favorite people in the business, and one of the best big guys in New England. I'm sure some of you guys have seen Congo. What a talent and what a person. But so he's like 3 years in at this point too. Aaron's kind of the vet on our side, but Aaron had gotten like rhinoplasty or something. He like got a nose job, like broke his
Got a
nose
tit
and had to
job?
get like a little fix or something, make him more handsome. It went better with the flat top. Anywho, so he's not there, and Chris Camaro ends up as the third guy on our team, right? And so we're facing Alpha Jr., who had just gotten released from WWE, had just been on Raw a couple months earlier before failing steroid tests and stuff, which I don't mind throwing that out there too.
Manu?
So
Manu? Is that
whatever it was.
Oh, okay, great.
So and then the Big O, which is what's his face's boy, right?
Zack
That's Zack
boy.
Ryder's
Oh,
boy. The Big
dude,
O, right?
I forgot about the Big
Right.
O.
And
That was a
And the
thing.
Big O, dude, the Big O would show up with his parents and like be like,
would.
like his parents need gas money.
Yeah, I
Coming
think you
down.
have to pay his parents.
Right,
when
yeah,
he
yeah.
showed
You got to
up.
book my parents to be there as fans. And
I hope he's not as big as he
Dude,
used to be.
That's the Big O move, baby.
dude, so
That's gonna be when I come back. That's gonna be my new
he had-
thing. I'll be like,
he had-
Mom, my
Mom,
parents.
Dad, get it.
You're in.
he had his 2-move routine, like I will pick you up and carry you around the ring, and then like you have to be there for like every one of his moves, or he doesn't know what the fuck to do. And then Coco B. Ware, so I'm like, oh,
The
at
Big
least we got-
Oblivious.
At least we got Coco B. Ware. He's
Tried and true professional.
tried and true Hall of Famer. What maybe arguably the greatest WWE Hall of Famer that's ever been. Coco B. Ware. So I'm like, all right, and we're talking over the match, and we're gonna have an old school like 6-man 3-on-3 tag team match, and whatever, like basically we're gonna all call it in the ring. We're not gonna have a whole lot called. We're gonna go in there and wrestle around. It's gonna be old school, probably a little
some
slow.
wrestling.
Some wrestling. And then
Judy, you know
and
about
then-
that wrestling.
And then boom, here's the finishing sequence, Bacon. You know how we wrestle.
you know how we do it.
All right, so we're gonna do that, and so we go out. We're in the ring, and their music hits. I don't know what the fuck happened, dude, but somewhere between us coming through the curtain and whatever conversation they had right there, they came storming out the curtain, dude. They all grabbed chairs. They're swinging chairs at us. I saw Coco B. Ware grab a full can of Coke unopened and smash it over Congo's head. Shoot chair shots on all of us. Coco picks up stairs and tries smashing them on me while I'm laying there at one point. I roll out of the way.
No, thank you, Coco B.
Right, right. Things spill back into the ring, and I'm like me and Congo are looking at each other, and I'm like, Congo, what the fuck's happened? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on.
In my head, the way I like to picture that is your guys' music hit, and you start walking to the ring, and Coco B. Ware looked at his two partners and said, "Fuck those guys."
Dude, that's exactly what happened. Dude, guaranteed. They went, Fuck those two greenhorns, those 2 3-year guys, and this fucking promoter who just put himself in the match. Sorry, Camaro, but that's why this happened. Is they looked at you and called you a mark and said, well, we're going to beat the shit out of them and kick the shit out of them and not take anything, and here we go. At one point, I take a snapmare, and Appa gives me a straight toe kick to the lower back. And he's 300 fucking pound Samoan dude. Are you kidding me? The fucking Samoans are strong freaking people, dude. Fast. The velocity at which that pointed toe of his boot came at the small of my back. I went full numb on my legs. I couldn't get up. So, they just completely crossed the line into being unsafe. And so the match ended, and I threw a classic temper tantrum. Me? Justin? Judas? A ring bell, I think, went flying across end to end of the gym like discus style.
One of those fake
I
ring
came
bells,
back
right?
I came back through a curtain, and it could have been anybody there. But it happened to be this kid, Chris Shady Lamberton, who's about 100 pounds, soaking wet, and was the promoter's brother-in-law.
Can I play Shady?
And it could have been anybody there, man. Just get out of my way. But it happened to be him. And when I came through the curtain, his hand was out, and he's like, "Great match!" And I shoved this fucking kid so hard, dude. His shoes flew off. His shoes flew off back through the curtain, back out into through the curtain, dude. And boom, he smashed on the wall. I felt sorry, Shady. I didn't mean that one. So I went and batted hell in the locker room, and I'm flipping out, and they're like, "What's wrong?" They they didn't know what they did. That was bullshit. It was bullshit. They absolutely knew, man. They were. It was a Hall of Famer with a couple guys who didn't give a shit. They tried taking liberties, and I let them hear about it. I don't care about it. I'll let him know. He called me for 6 straight days to apologize. Fuck him.
Who, Coco?
Fuck Coco B. Ware.
Coco did? Well, I didn't. Wait, time out.
hold on.
I never heard this part. I heard
week?
this story so many times. I never heard this part.
Yeah.
You sold a week of I'm sorry's
From a WWE Hall of Famer?
presumably with Frankie on his shoulder?
Absolutely. At one point, I answered and I said, "I'm at Six Flags. Leave me alone."
I'm at Six Flags in New England, bitch.
I'm at Six Flags in Wingwood, bitch. Agawam represent.
The best Six Flags.
Best Six
The
Flags.
Cleaning Hills, the 413, bitch.
Cleanest Six Flags.
So, we're going to end this with a Q&A.
All right, so we're going to keep this part a little short because we still got a show to do. Well, some of us do. But DJ Nick, you are the first questioner here. What is your question for Big Bacon?
Welcome to What Sizzling,
For the
first of all.
closers, do you guys like the purple stage I got you for your closers?
I would say it's more
That's
pink.
pretty
It looks like Planet Fitness stage.
Looks like Barney.
Probably exactly right.
Barney's belly.
I stole it from the Macy's. I didn't ask for anybody. I just took it from the abandoned Macy's.
Yeah, cut this part out, too.
Here you go. Here you go, DJ Nick.
So since I've been coming into January, how long were you the PvP champion before?
So, the first run I had with the PvP title lasted about, a year and a half. And then I lost it, and then won it back right away. Yeah, I lost it for a month. Then won it back right away for another year and a half. So my first run was a little under 3 years. And then my latest run with it was about,
I think it was just over a year.
maybe just
I think
around
it
a
was
year
just
as
over-
well.
maybe
And
a little longer, yeah.
where I lost to AJ Cruz in his last match. And then Dexter Lou decided to be a dick. Which, by the way, Dexter Lou's never allowed on the podcast. Everyone remember that.
No Dexter Lou?
Never. Okay. Never. He got mad at me because Insanely Rude was on it. He was like, "Can't believe you had them on before me." And I said, "Dexter, you will never be on my podcast, so don't worry
Everyone
about
will be on.
it." So everyone will be on.
Right.
before
We'll
you.
be like, well,
No, when Dexter gets on my podcast, that's when you know I just gave up.
RJ Root just met Blink 182. He has so many stories to tell. So when Dex gets some stories, maybe we can renegotiate
Maybe.
that.
Great $5 question, DJ Nick.
Dude, great question.
Jim Kulik, longtime New England pro wrestling supporter. How are you? The Cool's Connection.
Woo!
You're a sponsor now. You owe him $25. Here you go.
Guys, just a quick question for you. We have a moniker out there for PvP family. What does that mean to you guys?
You want to take this one first?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I talked a little bit earlier about, how proud I was of where we started as a group to where we got, and how we did it with that core group of guys. But it wasn't just the core group of wrestlers. It's been a core group of the fans, too. And I kept asking you guys throughout this, who's there for that match? Who's there for this one? And you're all raising your hands. Without you guys following us, we don't get to this point. You don't see a lot of promotions last more than a couple years. A lot of them phase out, and they burn out really quick. We've sustained something for a good amount of time here, with unbelievable talent and a platform for new guys to try new things out. And you guys have been there for every single inch of it. For our ups and downs, when we got You know, when there were some issues here at the mall a year and a half ago, and we lost the venue for a little bit. You guys followed us right over any town that we went to, Agawam, Holyoke. Now we're back at the mall, and I'm really hoping we get a good turnout here tonight. You know, it's been a couple months since we've been at the mall. We had the one the one smaller show there at the Blue Sox in July. That was an outdoor summer Sunday daytime show with everybody.
The date got changed.
Thank you. Yeah, that was there were thunderstorms. So if you guys are there for that, thank you. Point is, the history of PvP here, I think we've all been a part of it, or at least a lot of us have been a part of a majority of it, and that's kind of what PvP family is to me. You're absolutely a part of that. That's where the original Fan of the Year award kind of started to kind of recognize some of you guys. And then honestly, it's at the point where so many of you deserve to be recognized and can't give you an award. So no trophy for you, Jim.
Those are expensive trophies.
Yeah, but Matt still owes me a trophy because he gave me a beheaded one time.
I broke one of his one time.
You guys are every bit a part of this, so thank you guys very much, and we appreciate you very much, Jim. Love you, buddy.
So, and for me, PvP family, like he said, like, dude, I've been lucky enough to get a lot of opportunities lately where, you know, I get to be seen by thousands of people, and it's not the same as it is at PvP because I don't know everybody in the crowd. Like, yeah, they come up to my table and I talk to them for a little bit, and I try to get to know everybody as much as I can, but it's different. Like with Jim, like I could have a conversation with you, or, you know, with Foggy, you know, I could have a conversation with it. It just, PvP just has that different feel of it where it is the actual family feel, where I wouldn't feel uncomfortable if one of you guys just came up and started having a conversation with me, where sometimes, like, when there's a lot of fans, it could be overwhelming. It could kind of be like, okay, well, on to the next a little bit. Well, we're here. I want to have the conversations with everybody because we built up such, you guys were when we were talking about earlier, the 10, 12 people, you guys were that 10 to 12 people. And then you guys also seen it grow. So to have you guys kind of come up with us and see the stuff we're doing now, it's awesome. So like, cause I feel the pride that you guys feel in us. So it's really cool to see that. So
I think it's super cool when somebody can say, oh, you know, I've always been a supporter of such and such person, and I can look and go, yep, absolutely. And there's a lot of you guys where I can look back 5, 6, close to 10 years with some of you guys and be like, yep, Fogman, you were supportive of me day one. I'll never take that away from you, and I thank you for that. Jim Kulik, day one. I don't know how many PvP shows you've missed, but it's less than a handful. Yeah. You know, day one. Nick hasn't missed one since he started coming in, and we appreciate you guys. And well, then screw you, Nick.
I know, Nick. Come on, we're trying to put you over,
One
pal.
chance to put you over. No, but we love you guys, and you buy our shirts, and you show up, and you cheer, you boo. But the most important thing is you don't stay in your seat, you don't stay quiet, and you make every event special for us as we try to do for you guys.
So thank you.
All right. Oh, now, Foggy, you should ask a question about you and try to get 5 more minutes of getting yourself put over here. There we go. Here we go. Fogman!
Fogman's already over, brother. Yeah, my favorite match, I would have to say, or if not, we'll just add it in later. Whatever. My favorite match, I would probably have to say, is I had a triple threat at Northeast Wrestling, Bethany. It was myself, Flip Gordon, and Christian Casanova. Flip and I had known each other for a very, very long time, and I credit him a lot to helping me get so popular with Northeast Wrestling because I seen where he was going, and I'm like, well, if I can keep up with him, I'm going to be going to the same spot. So for him to have his last match and ask me to be in it with someone who he literally started his first day of training with, like he could have just had that match with Casanova, and I wouldn't have been like upset about it. I would have understood. I'd been like, all right, well, that's who you started with. But he was like, no, I got to be both you guys because, you know, you guys are both my boys, so I want to have that match with you two. So that one will always be real special to me. The Billy King one will always be really special to me. We had an Iron Man match where it was the first time I think I've gone longer than like 15 minutes in a match. We went 30 minutes. And so that one will always be special to me too because it kind of told me like, hey, you can bring it to that next gear and you can keep going.
Yeah, that one, I think for both of us was kind of like, we put so much into that.
Yeah, like, so we are not very meticulous with putting a match together. We're very laid back. And that match, we were pretty meticulous about every little detail.
Yeah, it was our first big, like, we had done something special to build that one up, and we wanted to cap it off with something big, and so we went Iron Man. We weren't ballsy enough to go the hour.
No,
But
absolutely not.
I personally find hour-long Iron Man matches boring. Too much.
Good half an hour.
Too much.
Give you a solid half an hour.
I don't like them.
Would you rather a boring hour?
No,
or
I'd
a
rather
solid half an
I'd
hour?
rather Brock Lesnar 6 than in anybody's hour.
So, oh, dude, if we start talking about Brock, we'll be here for another hour.
Unless you give me an hour of Brock. So, no, that match was special. And then this one we had last October, but for different reasons. You guys know the last couple of years that Bacon's had. He's just been on like this epic tear, across New England, and lined up where me and him got to wrestle each other last October for the PvP title. And I went in that one feeling like I had a lot to prove.
Which I kept telling him he was nuts.
He kept telling me he was that I was nuts, but I think Bacon's the best wrestler in New England. I genuinely believe that. And I genuinely believe that.
Thank you.
I wanted to prove that I could stay in there and hang with them every step of the way, if not even push them a little bit. We're different style of wrestlers, and it was something for myself. And we did about 22 minutes or something that match. And at the 2-minute mark, I broke my ribs for the third time in a year. I had broken them once. I came back a little too soon. I re-broke them. I thought I was good for this
I'm a
match.
big boy.
And 2 minutes in, I took a shoulder to the gut, and I felt him pop, and I couldn't breathe for the next 20 minutes.
I know. He looks at me. He goes, broke my rib, and I just go, oh, no.
And I was able to hang in there, and luckily he was able to guide me, and just kind of on instinct. We've always had a really good chemistry, but I was able to hang in there and finish out the match and do the full 20 minutes. I remember a couple of the big bumps at the end, me going, oh boy. Like, oh, well, here we go. So I was very proud of getting through that one, because I still thought it was a very good match. I think it could have been better because I wasn't at where I needed to be or where I could have been, but I still think it was a very good match. And then if you throw in the fact that what happened to me 2 minutes in, I think we pulled something really special out. That could have been a roll-up and 3-minute main event, and that would have ruined me.
No, and then you were still taking that second rope deadlift jackhammer. So
those
ribs were feeling good enough for that.
Oh,
You're going.
Dude,
So-
I tried driving the U-Haul truck home that night, and I couldn't turn the wheel. Like, oh.
How was sneezing?
All right, here we go. Damon, the last
is his last question?
The last $5 question of the evening.
So, to both of you, who are some of your favorites that you modeled your game after? I remember Bacon telling me one time he kind of reminded me of cross between Rick Steiner and Kurt Angle.
Which that's such a badass combination, by the way.
Who did you?
So me personally, like, obviously I'm a huge Brock guy, so there's a lot of Brock in there. But growing up, I always loved Angle, and I would say you probably don't see it enough where maybe I want to kind of bring it to, but when I was younger, like by far my favorite wrestler was The Rock. Like, just to me, like he was just the man.
You guys probably obviously see The Rock
Yeah.
in him. Obviously,
No,
you guys
dude.
all
When I
see it.
was 8 years old, no BS. I had sideburns at 8 years old, and I would I was all into it. Like those
and
sideburns.
tattoos.
I probably already had my tattoos, but
He had the tribal before The Rock did.
So I wouldn't say I modeled my game after him so much as I would model like his presence. Like to me, like I'm not doing the same stuff that he does. I'm not gonna go out there and do catchphrases or whatever. But just the way he walks and carries himself and kind of looks at the crowd, engages them, like you can't see it with the naked eye, but like if you look beyond it, you'll see a lot of that I try to spice in. But yeah, a lot of the amateur wrestlers, Rick Steiner, Angle, Brock, all guys like that.
Yeah, same. Anybody amateur I loved. I amateur wrestled since I was 10 years old, and I took it very, very seriously. I got to do some really cool things with that. And like, what a transition it is when you have an amateur wrestling pedigree to come to the, like,
It
can't
makes the
recommend
first
that
couple
enough.
months so much easier.
So much easier. You can tell somebody like right away if they have some of that amateur pedigree. In terms of like in-ring style, Stone Cold, he's my all-time favorite wrestler. But specifically, like, if you ever watch any of the old Steve Austin stuff, like the WCW Steve Austin stuff when he was Stunning Steve, like that style, he's a completely different style wrestler, and I'm more that style. It's the big selling, and it's to me selling and firing up and having that charisma and match under your ass are the two most important things for wrestling. So a lot of that, like heel Sergeant Slaughter. If you ever get to watch old heel Sergeant Slaughter, old heel Terry Funk, Harley Race, the way those guys sell and take things, I steal a lot of that. A lot of my mannerisms I steal from Macho Man. If you ever see Sexy Jesus walking around with the hands tight in, up on the toes and the balls of the feet all the time, like that's all Randy Savage. And it's not intentionally; it just kind of happens. And I think it's guys that I like, and guys Arn Anderson. Oh my God, I'll steal everything from fucking Arn Anderson. Get him on your podcast. He's supposed to.
Let me just call him right up. Book Arn Anderson real quick.
Yeah, any of the horsemen.
And then I'll have Sid.
Tully Blanchard's so terribly underrated. I like to watch a lot of the older guys. I steal a lot of stuff like that because what's old becomes new again, and you don't see a lot of it anymore.
And I like watching new stuff because I'm a child. I have no attention span. No, I like a little bit of everything. But so that's it. That's the What Sizzling podcast. Thank you guys for.
I have a question.
What? Why are you a piece of crap?
I have a question. How dare you?
How dare you?
Let's make it quick because we got a show to go run in about 5 minutes.
Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys down there for some PvP wrestling.
Guys, thank you. It's been real. It's been fun. We'll see you down there. Let's have a good time tonight, all right?
One more time, guys, for Sexy Jesus. Woo! We got John Roy on the tech booth. I'm Matthew James, and let's hear it for the host of What's Sizzling, Big Bacon.
Bacon, bacon, bacon.
Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Alright, this is my DJ guy voice, and that was our episode with Hammer Tunis. No, but I want to thank Hammer so much. I want to thank the Zombie Hideout. I want to thank Matthew James and everyone that actually showed up and asked questions, because a lot of those questions were good questions. Like, they weren't the generic questions you hear all the time. So I want to thank everyone for showing up to that. And this week, we're going to have some flipping bacon. We're going to make it happen, because as of right now, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Flip is coming over to Casa de Bacon tomorrow to record some flipping bacon. So we're going to try to squeeze that into this week's episode. If not, we're going to make sure to have it for next week and all the episodes going forward. So I'm going to hopefully throw to flipping bacon. And if not, well, I hope you guys had a good time listening. And I hope you guys listen next week. Like I said, make sure to follow us at What Sizzling at Twitter, at What Sizzling Podcast on Instagram. And make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, TuneIn, Radio. Oh yeah, Google Play too. Don't forget that one. And give us those much, much needed 5 stars, baby. We bacon. You didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. The flipper might not have thought it was going to happen, but we made it. Flipping Bacon is on this week's What's Sizzling. Flip, what's sizzling, baby?
I'm back, man. How you been?
Dude, you had that week off, man. It was a paid vacation courtesy of What's Sizzling.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. But I'm back, and I'm ready. I'm ready to flip some bacon.
And, dude, this is a very, very controversial topic I seen brought up on social media the other day. And anytime I find a topic like this that I think will be good for flipping bacon, I automatically ask you how you feel about it, because if we disagree, we're going to bring it up on the show. So, this one is professional wrestling a sport? I mean, this is something that goes back a long, long time, when the old days of professional wrestling, when I think people thought it was more legitimate and it was presented as a sport, where now I think it's more presented as theatrics. And I personally do not feel it as a sport, and I'm sitting here with a torn ACL. So I understand that there are athletic components to it, but I don't think it's a sport. Flip feels the opposite.
It is a sport. You are wrestling for championships. You have to have some athletic ability to be in a ring.
Yeah, but okay, so I feel like you have to have...
do what I do, you have to be an athlete. To do what you do, you have to be an athlete.
I am not denying that at all. I feel like of course there are athletic components to it, but I feel like there is no one stopping you. You know what I mean? Where, like, you hear all the greats of all time talking about working together to make sure that no one gets hurt. You know what I mean? Where other sports, people are trying to hurt you. Like, I feel the same way about golf. I don't think golf's a sport because no one is defending you from golfing.
See, I would disagree. I think it's a sport but I also think it's entertainment because all sports are a form of entertainment. Because look how many tickets football and basketball sells.
See, I would think that basketball or football is more entertainment than wrestling is a sport. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. But I still disagree. I think professional wrestling is a sport because there are a lot of shoots, a lot of holds you could actually hurt somebody with and use. And there's a lot of shoot wrestling that actually happens.
Oh, like I said, I know there are absolutely components of that in professional wrestling. I'm not taking that away from wrestling. I would never dream to take that away from wrestling. I love professional wrestling more than anything in the world. But just like you, I played every sport under the sun, and there was never a conversation taken hand before the game with my opponent. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
So would you say that a professional wrestler is more of an actor than he is an athlete?
No, they're definitely athletes. The same way I feel like golfers are athletes, or the same way that I feel like gymnasts. Gymnasts are athletes, but there's no one stopping them from performing.
What do athletes play?
Some athletes play sports. Some athletes play games. I feel golf is a game.
If you're a professional wrestler, you are playing a character. You are playing a sport. I don't think we're going to change each other's minds. I think we're both stuck in each other's ways.
I really don't think so. But like I said, this is a topic.
What do you guys think? Let us know. Do you think professional wrestling is a sport?
Like I said, there are sports elements. I'm not taking that away from us. I know we are athletes. Like I said, I'm sitting here with a torn ACL. I know that you can get hurt in the ring. That is not something I would ever take away from professional wrestling. But again,
Bacon's still pleading his case, so I think he might think he's wrong. But let us know. Use the hashtag #FlipAndBacon.
Flip that bacon, baby.
That's all, folks.